here's what Chris Demm has noted about Rusty's dive into Happy Days. One, Happy Days and whoever made it, Paramount, is so, or whoever it was that made it.
Yeah, I think it's owned by Paramount or whatever. The rights.
They're so protective of the show, they won't allow it to be seen. They try to knock it out anywhere it is. So Rusty told Chris Demm, I had to go to the dark web to get this information on Happy Days. And that's why it's mirrored.
That's reverse Happy Days?
That's why it's reversed. They won't allow it to be seen. So you got to go to the dark web. And on the dark web, it's a mirror image, which is fascinating. And I would have known that had I read
read the email.
Yeah. And then Chris Demm reached back out to our fact checker, Rusty, and said, are you going into the dark web? And
I said, you're treading in dangerous waters.
I mean, only criminals are out there on the dark. I mean, it's mostly just I don't even know how to get to the dark web. You know, I don't
it's
even.
It's best.
Yeah. Oh, God, yeah. Can you imagine me treading out of the dark web? So Chris Demm says, are you going to the dark web? And he goes, oh, yeah, I've been in the dark web forever.
He said, I passed that buoy a long time ago.
Oh, yeah. He's out there, man. You talk about a dive now. This guy will get you some information.
I'm a little disappointed that even the dark web has Happy Days.
Yeah, well, that's the only place you can find it.
Like, honestly, I was really expecting more guns and drugs.
Well,
yeah.
I think that's what it is, but...
anyone knew where I can see the first episode of Happy Days? I think you're using the dark web wrong, sir.
The dark web? You're out on the dark web.
Yeah, they call it Shirley and Laverne out there on the dark web.
They do. And sure enough, there's Fonzie in his canvas jacket because they won't allow you to show leather at that time.
Too edgy. Too scary.
Edgy. Exactly. Too over the line. And Rusty's out on the dark web seeing flipped images of Happy Days. But there's Fonzie. And
he was in the first, because Rusty, I guess, made a supercut of all the Fonzie scenes from the first episode.
Yes.
And there's one where he's just kind of talking to a girl sitting on his motorcycle. And Richie says, hey, Fonzie, where's Potsy? And he just nods his head in to the drive-in.
Yep.
And then there's a scene in the bathroom that became, I think, part of the credits where Fonzie comes out of the toilet, looks at himself in the mirror, pulls his comb out of his back pocket, begins to comb his hair, and looks at himself and said, I'm perfect.
That's a great scene.
I don't need to.
That didn't...
It did become a part of the credits, I think, in his leather jacket.
And we've heard, probably from media guy Craig, or maybe you just saw this, I remember you saying that he refused to do, because every single 50s throwback show had guys combing their hair.
Yeah, the greasers.
And he said, I'm not going to comb my hair, or they wanted him to do it, and he just looked at it and went, oh, it's perfect, so I'm not going to comb it. Yeah. And it was really...
It's a great gesture.
It's fantastic. So, the other throwback this is television related as well, this naked attraction show. I'm so into this right now, I can't even tell you. Now, I haven't watched it, and the reason is I didn't get home till late yesterday, and, had the wife around yesterday. But
this is a solo watch?
I think so. I don't think she'd be into this. I just really heard about this.
This isn't her thing.
Right. The whole reason we talked about it was we learned that Happy Days wouldn't let Fonzie wear the leather jacket because it was too edgy. Now, fast forward 50 years, look what television has become. On Max, and this started in England, they're doing a show called Naked Attraction. It's a dating show. And we had a caller who said, I was in London and saw it. First it was only over in Great Britain. Now it's here in the United States. And the way they do it is, like if the one he saw, a girl wanted to date a guy, and they raise a glass, and you see first just his calves and then his legs, and then all the way up.
Keep tilting.
To his genitals. And then they zoom in on the genitals. And they do it for both men and women. But in this case, it was woman wanting man. And he's like, I couldn't look away. This is the show. And now it's gone to #1 on Max. That is the most watched show on that app.
Not surprised.
Here's the other thing. There's 6 seasons of this already out there. And you can binge watch all of it now in the United States. They made
all the actors English?
I think so, because it was in Great Britain. Yeah. But you see everything.
Yeah, according to our eyewitness caller, who had seen the show, as Kelly said, in England, the cameras are a little more observant of the male genitalia than the female.
Now that's what he said. Now and he only saw a couple of episodes.
Correct.
But at least in the
he
one... He
turned it off when there was, I think, a gay man.
He said, a couple of gay men. He's like, not my thing. Not my bag. Leave it to somebody else to watch that one. He liked the hetero interaction, but it was. He said they zoomed in. Chris Demm made a good observation too. He said, "I bet there wasn't a lot of pubic hair on that thing."
Pubic hair on the set.
Caller said it's clean, shaved clean. I'm going to watch this show. I'm going to watch. I'm going to watch this show.
Well,
Titillated by it.
I want to make this clear now, because I had a few messages and emails yesterday, and this is where we're going to have to divide the line. I'd say on like you and Dave are definitely going to watch and perv on this.
Oh, big time.
So please send your emails, your
Big
perv
time.
emails.
Big time.
I was getting emails yesterday. Hey man, you see this thing yet?
This thing's
Man,
pretty
this thing
good.
came up. I saw her drunk right there, man.
I'm interested, but I don't want my family to know that I'm watching.
No, and Dave won't want anyone to know, but you two can perv out on it together.
That'll be tough because when we have Max.
Oh yeah, and it loves to tell you, right? Continue watching.
Jeez.
That's true, because when you watch,
It says
there's a record.
continue
Yeah.
watching, or do you more like this? You want
Hey,
naked?
pervert, you back
Yeah.
for another episode?
Hey, another 6th season of this perv.
Yeah, it tells you. I'd like it to stop doing that. That
I wonder
really.
if you can turn off continue watching.
I'd like to turn that off. I'd like to go into the settings and turn off the whole.
Delete.
And it'll nudge you to other. Hey, if you're a pervert, you might like this perv show too.
So you like naked people?
You want to perv on nudes some more?
Oh,
Here
is
you
this
go.
what you're here for? No, I was just wandering by.
That's invasive. That's too much into your personal
Yeah.
space. I don't think it should
Could
do
you
that.
just say, look, this is for work.
Right.
This is research.
I'm watching for work, but
It's the number one thing in the country.
I don't need my wife and daughter to go on there and say, "Who's watching this naked?
Who's watching
show?"
naked? Who's watching naked
Which is
attraction?
exactly what I'm doing. Follow up. I believe this is clocked now. Kansas City Chiefs at New York Jets Sunday, MetLife Stadium. Taylor Swift will be in attendance.
No.
That's what I'm reading. I'm reading that it is clocked that Taylor Swift will be now on a road game for Travis Kelce.
Now, she does, her main residence is New York, correct?
I guess. I don't even
I know she owns like or stayed there for years in like a brownstone.
Mm-hmm.
So I think, I'm not shocked by that.
That she's on a roadie. Now
He's on a roadie.
Yeah.
She's driving across the bridge.
Yes, but to me, when she goes to a home game, it's like, okay, that's fun. If she's going on the road to watch him, it's serious.
Yes.
These two are becoming a real thing. And also, he's been a real gentleman with her. He doesn't want to push her. You know, we heard him say from an interview a few years ago, he likes sex by the third date. It's a deal breaker if the woman won't perform for him. That's what he said. That's a Travis Kelce in his own. It was a Watch What Happens Live. And the deal breaker was, I need sex by the third date, and I want her performing. But now I'm reading that he's a real gentleman when it comes to Taylor Swift because she's so classy.
Well, and he's
so
older.
classy. He's aged a bit.
He's aged.
Since then.
We always say this. You know, what was that, 7-8 years ago
That's
now?
right, yeah.
I'm sure I've said things 7-8 years ago. I would never say or mean now. Now I'm older, more mature.
Yeah, I guess so.
So that's he's 33. That's a 25-year-old thing. Yeah, man. Beach by the third date, or I'm out.
Yeah, but
Yeah, bro, you're right. I'm out too, man.
Yeah, but at
33-year-old, you're like, nah, I shouldn't have said that.
He just told his brother Jason yesterday, I'm taking it very slowly with Taylor. This is something we need to build.
This is a podcast.
It's a podcast.
Dismiss.
Chris Demm dismisses. If you haven't heard it, Chris Demm dismisses all things on podcasts.
All material.
I just recorded our podcast yesterday with Square in the Round.
Shall I
And,
talk about it?
yeah, we talked about it. Well, let me tell you, BB Shea, he's in love with it. He thinks it's
Oh,
the great. He
really?
thinks
I'm
it's
surprised.
the great.
Okay.
He likes Taylor and he loves Travis.
Will it end
Kelce.
messy or just end quietly?
I think it'll end quietly. I mean, I don't think it'll last, but I think they'll still be friends after. Don't you
Yeah.
think?
Well, and I think that from what my understanding is, that this has been going on quietly behind the scenes for a few months. It's nothing official. They just like hanging out with each other. She's about to go back out, on tour again across the world this time. We're not just talking where he can hop on a jet and be here. She's now hitting the world.
But they FaceTime. But they FaceTime all the time.
Well, the good news about this Sunday's game is, too, by the way, the Jets will lay down.
Just as the Bears
Oh,
did.
yeah.
So, are you
it's
saying
quite likely that Travis Kelce can have 3 touchdowns for Taylor.
Well, however many he wants. Whatever he wants, he gets.
As soon as they get in the red zone.
Yeah, oh, yeah.
Yeah.
What's Mahomes going to say in the huddle?
You want another one?
Yeah.
I know your chick's here.
Yeah.
You want me to throw you one?
Guys, everything's blocked for Travis.
Yeah.
We got to get him in the end zone.
And against the Jets, of course, they're going to do that.
And right now, see, it's early in the season. It's fun for him, too. I think when she hits the road to go around the world
Yeah.
and he gets into the actual thick of the conference,
They're playing the Dolphins.
Yeah, I
okay,
think so.
Right.
I think by Thanksgiving, Christmas, we don't hear as much about this. We quietly hear that they're not together, but they're still friends because she's got to be around the world. And I know you said FaceTime.
Yes.
But, but I do agree with you. I think they'll always be friendly, even possibly one of those couples that comes back together later.
I think they will make it through the Super Bowl.
Really?
Yes.
Super Bowl.
Yes, and I think if the Chiefs are in the Super Bowl, and it's possible for sure, I think she will. Well, unless she's on tour somewhere across the world, she may try to
Could be in
attend.
Barcelona. We don't know.
I believe that's why. That's one of the things they were talking about with the Super Bowl is that she's in South America during the Super Bowl.
If she was at the Super Bowl,
Worlds collided.
has there ever been a bigger event than that? Has there ever been a bigger event than Taylor at the Super Bowl where Travis is playing? I mean, good Lord. What are you going to say? It's just it would be unbelievable. Now, speaking of, this is also a follow-up. And this is one of Chris Demm's favorite artists. Bruce Springsteen has now postponed all of his 2023 dates. He's got that peptic ulcer, and it's causing him more problems.
Yeah, it's apparently the symptoms are just debilitating stomach pain.
It's awful. I many years ago, because of stress in our industry, I had what was called a pre-ulcer condition, and it was awful. It was miserable. And I went to the doctor finally after about a week or two. I went to the doctor, and he said, you have a pre-ulcer condition. And all he did was prescribe me, at the time you couldn't get it over the counter, Zantac. Is that right? Zantac, yeah. Not Zyrtec.
Zantac, yeah.
Zantac. And immediately it cured me. Within 2 or 3 days, everything was fine.
It's like a heavy-duty antacid kind of thing.
But if that is a pre-ulcer condition, I can only imagine an actual ulcer or what makes it peptic? What is a peptic ulcer?
I don't know.
It sounds worse. I know that. So I can only imagine, because, I couldn't even, I don't know why I did it, but I had a bowl of chili knowing, well, I was out at Longhorn Steakhouse.
Hurt yourself.
And I knew it was going to be.
Hurt myself today.
I did. I knew it was going to be trouble, but I said,
Is that a Taylor Swift lyric?
Kind of is.
I knew it was trouble when I walked in. I knew it. But I smelled that good chili over at Longhorn Steakhouse. And the guy I was eating lunch with said, come on. He goaded me into it. He said,
God.
You're such a pansy. I said, I can't.
I just want a baked potato.
I said, all I can have is plain baked potato.
I bet I know that person, and I believe he still goads you into things.
He does. And he pushed me into it. He said, come on, you pansy. Why don't you get some chili? Why don't you be a real man?
I just need broccoli with no seasoning.
That's right. But I had that chili, and boy, I regretted it that night. I can tell you that. But here I am. I was like 23, and I thought I can rule the world here.
And then I bet you told him, like, oh, that chili really hurt me. He's like, well, yeah.
Yeah, exactly.
You made me do it. No, I didn't.
Exactly. That's how it was. And man, was that ever painful. So I can only imagine what a peptic ulcer is like.
Yeah. I'm a fan of Bruce Springsteen. I've always been. And I realize he's polarizing.
Yeah.
But, and Biggie probably has picked up on this too, because a lot of the major news services, including CNN and Fox, have done this story. And without fail, every time they show Bruce Springsteen's picture on foxnews.com, I always click the link and then I go straight to the comments because it's 10,000 people. Never cared for him.
Don't like him. Don't like him.
Used to like him. Then he went woke.
Got politics involved.
Yeah. And it's happening with Taylor Swift and Travis Kelce.
You're really?
Oh, if somebody puts up, or a news station puts up, hey, here's Taylor Swift. They went out for dinner afterwards. Who cares? Who's Travis Kelce?
Yeah.
I quit watching the NFL. I don't like that liberal Taylor Swift.
I don't listen to the radio or watch the NFL.
It's all politics. Politics really creeps into for a lot of people.
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah. I don't ever read comments.
It's best.
Because
it's
not
best.
for you.
It's best. I can never do
It's
that.
a swamp that you're not fit to navigate.
You know what I did? And this was such a terrible idea. About 3 weeks ago, I went to visit Aquavision Pool and Spa and sat in a hot tub where you can do that there. You can sit in the hot tub.
Give it a test drive, if you will.
Yeah,
which is really cool.
Test soak.
It's a great thing. Yeah, it's called a wet test, and you can do it. And I did it for like a half hour. Wonderful experience. And our salesperson, Martha, said, "Can I take pictures?" I said, "You take all the pictures you want.
I'm ripped.
Fine. Yes, take all the pictures you want. That's the best my body's looked in 25 years. Take it." So she took the pictures, and we put them up on our social media, which I never visit. But while on vacation, I thought, let me just see what everybody's saying. I shouldn't have looked at that.
No wonder you're in a mood.
I know. And you know what the comments are? "Oh, I can't unsee it. I can't.
My eyes.
I'm stabbing my eyes out. My eyes. My." Okay, you don't have to. You don't have to say that.
Oh, there's that liberal Kelly.
I stopped listening when he went woke.
That's right. That's right.
Yeah, I'm telling you, it can't. I made a joke yesterday on
our
Facebook.
air. Oh, on Facebook.
On Facebook, yeah. I just put up. I made a simple joke. I said, the older I get, it's funny the things that enrage me and the things that don't.
Mm-hmm.
I said, politics, I become numb.
You're right.
Everyone's terrible.
Yeah.
I said, but people who ride their high horse over shredding their own cheese on recipe videos drive me nuts.
Do they do that?
Yeah, this is where I shred my own. I said, just eat wood pulp like the rest of us.
You said that.
So I said that. So I
Get it out of the bag.
Strong take. I think it's strong
yeah,
take.
but I put that up and I put it on my Biggie page, and it got it got 1,000 ha-has and everything.
Yeah.
But comments where it's like, people drove on the political part. Well, if you're not political, how come the world in 60 seconds? But
Oh, good gracious. Oh, my goodness.
So I actually went back and I said, look, I've said this a million times. This is how I do it. But everything, even a joke now like that, my joke is just simply,
cheese.
the cheese.
Yeah.
It's not even it's the cheese.
Cheese
It's the
part
money
of it. Cheese
part.
part of it.
But it's like everything is taken and picked apart so much.
You know how numb I am to it now? I remember when there weren't ever threats of government shutdowns. We're right on the doorstep of a government shutdown right now. So I never heard that term until the 90s. They almost shut it down. Or they did shut it down with Clinton. There was a shutdown. When the government shut down when Bill Clinton was in office, the lead up to it was so huge. Like, oh, my God, is the government shutting down? And we all were like, what? And then it did.
It's all people could talk
It's all we
about.
time. Now I see it on the news. Like, okay, whatever.
Oh, is it Saturday or Sunday? I can't remember.
Exactly. Shut it down.
It's like the third story.
No, we're just like,
fourth story
okay,
in.
all right, you're going to shut it down? Shut it down. Whatever. It's like, it used to be, oh, my God. Now, we're so numb to it. It's like,
I feel that way about any time Donald Trump gets charged with something.
yeah. Imagine.
They're like, hey, he's been imagine 20 years ago, it'd been like,
What? The president's been
now
charged?
it's just like, what's this? Where's this? What state this time?
Yeah, I know. It's like, it's just completely different. I don't know why, but I guess because there's more, we're talking about more stuff.